Mr. Beast threw away a video that's worth $1.1 million. Let's do some math.
Yeah.
I flew down, I came in a video, I was on a private jet, and then we did a video that cost like $800K, and you scrapped the whole thing.
Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm your beautiful host, Young Buffett, and in today's video, we're gonna analyze, we're gonna speculate, we're going to figure out how exactly Mr. Beast spends so much money on his videos, but in particular, how is it possible to spend $1.1 million on a video with Ludwig? We all know he has amazing hair, but it doesn't cost that much, right? Where does all of that money go? That's what we're gonna be reviewing today. So sit back, relax, hit that like button, and while you're at it, while you're down there, join the Parasocial Friendship Squad and hit that subscribe button because it makes this number go up. And then it makes my ego go up, okay? So Mr. Beast spent $1.1 million on a video and he didn't even upload it himself. He just gave it to Ludwig. If you don't know the story, check out the link in my description to Ludwig's story time about it. It's a great recap on how he convinced Mr. Beast to let him upload the video he otherwise would have literally thrown away.
Yeah, the video was shit. It was pretty terrible.
Was it actually, like, explain what the thought process was?
Do you have no sunk cost in your mind at all? Like, I feel like it's hard to ignore that.
Yeah, of course, but at the end of the day, what matters is that you make the best videos possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like, we're not trying to make money, we're just trying to make the best videos. So for me, it's pretty easy because I thought the video was horseshit.
Wait, is there like a hard drive of never uploaded Mr. Beast videos?
Yeah, we have quite a few.
Okay. Can I have it?
Where does all of that money go? How is it possible to spend so much money? Let's backtrack a little bit. I used to be a producer at a marketing agency. I was the guy who talked to clients, plans all of the next steps for pre-production, connects all the dots and hires all of the people for the production, and then organizes all of the next steps for post-production, and then eventually delivers a final product to the customer. Why does that matter? Because I've seen all of these numbers. I've made videos for $5,000. I've made videos for free. I've made videos for $500,000. So let's break down Jimmy's video scene by scene. Pre-production, as the name suggests, is the pre-production. It's the planning phase. The production is the actual shoot, and you need to prep for that, right? A lot. And it all starts with the concept. What's the concept? And even that costs money. First, you have to come up with the idea.
Inside of this hole is $100,000. And 2 of my subscribers are about to race to find it. Literally in the middle of nowhere. And whichever one of these 2 contestants finds it first keeps it in those scrolls as the first coordinate. Let's go, come on. Let's go. Don't get hit, Tariq. Only one of you's getting $100,000.
Now, you heard his little monologue explaining what the concept is, but that didn't come out of nowhere. He didn't just hop in front of the camera and decide to say that. They wrote that, they planned that, they rehearsed that, they optimized that. They even potentially storyboarded out where he's standing, what visual graphics are going to be shown, the schedule, the crew, the flight logistics, the permits, the list goes on and on. And we're just getting started on the pre-production. We have the concept, the script writing, the planning of the visuals, the planning of the graphics, all that stuff aside. You have permits, props, travel, gear, crew. Where do you guys want to start? Let's just go through it scene by scene, I guess. I mean, the first thing that you have to do before you can even do any of this is permitting. You can't just go around filming this stuff for free anywhere you want. Otherwise, things would just be crazy everywhere. I mean, you have to file for permits for your locations, which means you either have to rent the locations or pay for the right to film at those locations and work with the city. And it's a slow process sometimes, but I'm sure he's figured out a system with his city, and I'm sure they know him very well. They have this field, they have a hockey rink, they have a lake, they have this glue trap warehouse, which might actually be his own warehouse, but don't worry, even that costs money too. And we'll get into that as well. We have another field, and don't worry, we'll talk about these cars and these cranes. Another field for cannons. Then we have another field for a graveyard. Then we have another field for the sumo wrestler scene. And we have our final field where the $100,000 is buried. How many locations was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 locations. So planning this many locations is hard and expensive, but it gets even harder when it's for a race. It gets even more expensive expensive when it's for a race. You pretty much need 9 crews stationed at each location, or at least 2 to 3 to always be one step ahead of the contestants and always have one person left behind to clean up and make sure nobody steals anything, right? One team could be in location number 1, another team might be in location number 2. That's why Ludwig was even there. For any instance where a contestant was faster than Mr. Beast or faster than the other contestant, they would always need somebody at the next location ready to host it, ready to film it, ready to go. And on top of all of that, you need multiple days to build the sets, prep the gear, lighting, planning, and then after the shoot, you need to take everything down. You have gaffers, you have people in charge of lighting, you have the camera guys, you have multiple cameras themselves. Don't forget about the grips, the people who are in charge of setting things up, and they work with and for the gaffers and the camera crew to make sure everything is set up and ready to go. Then sometimes you need an assistant camera to help pull focus or swap batteries. Sometimes the assistant needs an assistant. In some cases, a person in charge of keeping sure the schedule is on track, making sure that the sun isn't about to set during a scene that doesn't have lighting. People in charge of props, wardrobe, safety and compliance, food and crew, and more. Let's look at the first actual location. How much does it cost to rent a hockey rink? I don't think we ever saw the name of this hockey rink. It's safe to assume that they didn't give it to him for free. I mean, sometimes they'll get a location for free, in return show the name of the place, free advertisement in a way, but you probably had to pay a few thousand to rent it out. But it also isn't just rented for one day. I mean, you probably need 2 to 3 days, one day to prep, another day to shoot, another day to take everything down. It's not a cheap process. You need insurance, permitting, crew, and real lightsabers, which you can see was brought to you by Hacksmith Industries, who he probably flew out for the shoot, which costs money. Also, is he staying the night? Does he need a hotel? The day before, the day of, and maybe the day after. What about food? Times that by 3, times that by 3. But wait, in order to do this all properly, you also will probably need a fire marshal approval and or a person on location on this set that's in charge of fire safety. I mean, you can't just go around lighting fires with these lightsabers. Safety always comes first, and safety is expensive. And I also don't know if Mr. Beast owns his own film equipment. I don't think he does, or maybe he owns some, but not all. It wouldn't make sense for him to own all of it, because in this industry, everything is so scalable that some shoots are huge, some shoots are smaller. So it might make sense to rent from time to time based on his budget and how big and how many he needs. Keep in mind, these lights, if you wanted to buy these, they cost upwards of $6,000 each and a couple $100 to rent a day. So sometimes you'll rent, sometimes it just makes sense to buy if you use them quite often. Some of these kits actually go for over $30,000 each. So if you're going to need a lot of lights, probably better to rent them. But anyways, you're going to need them for multiple days. Day 1 to prep, day 2 to shoot, day 3 to take down and return back to the rental house. Fast forward to the lake. Ludwig's here. Remember, he flew Ludwig out on a private plane.
Cool. More importantly, what are you doing on Friday?
Yeah, not much. I think I had maybe a shoot in the morning. That was
Okay, that's fine. Cancel it. So I'll have a private jet pick you up Thursday night and fly you over here. Okay? I need you for a video.
And everyone knows how that ends. I went on a private jet to Mr. Beast's place.
This could have cost anywhere from a few thousand to tens of thousands of dollars. Jets are expensive. Ludwig is expensive. Did he stay in a hotel? Did he eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or did he stay for a while? Was he only there for a weekend? Setting this whole scene up is expensive. There's an arrow pointing to the treasure chest. Who made the arrow? Who made the treasure chest? Where'd they get it from? That means someone had to go buy it. Where did they buy it? When did they buy it? You have to pay these people per day to source these things. Also, there's probably a dive team that they had to hire to place that treasure chest. There's probably a medical emergency unit standing by just in case anybody potentially drowns. And is that literally a sunken ship? Did he actually sink a ship? Or was the ship already there? I have no idea, but that's very expensive to sink a ship for this. But anyways, you'll notice that they have to drive around from location to location. They potentially have to block off roads for their driving scenes, meaning that they probably had to hire some sort of police squad to block off intersections as the competition goes on, which goes back to the permitting process with the city. And I'm sure they're just looking out for the safety of all of this. And remember, safety first, but also safety is very expensive. Next, we have the glue trap warehouse, which there's a lot of glue, custom built grass footprint stepping stones. And then what are these walls? These walls are huge. Who built this set? That costs money. That costs days and time. The crew, the lights, the audio, the camera. And if he had to rent this location, that costs money. But if this is his own warehouse, he saves money on that end. But you still have to pay for the props and the production team to build, which probably took like a week to build. I don't know how long it took to build, but still you have to pay these people every single day to set up, prep, test, plan. It all costs money. And then you have this sponsored little spot sponsored by Venmo, which helps offset some of that cost. And typically, when you watch any of his videos, Jimmy does his ads the best way possible. He integrates it into his story. So if you skip the ad or if you try to, you're actually skipping the content. It's not one of those breakaway scenes and if you skip through it, you got through the ad. It's actually integrated into the story. But wait a second, they're no longer a sponsor.
This next section was sponsored by Venmo, but they're no longer a sponsor for this video. So just ignore all the ad reading stuff that Mr. Beast does.
So if they aren't getting paid for this, they kept it in the video because he has a code at the end. And if you use his code, he probably gets the referral payments for that. So that still helps offset the cost if anybody uses that code. But still, this could be hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, depending on the sponsor, the video, the segment, the length, the negotiation back and forth, the partnership, the deals that go on. He probably has an entire team dedicated to making sure that his negotiations with these sponsors and brands go smoothly. How else do you think he pays for all of these videos? Next, we have the smash or pass. So he has 2 Camaros here that he's giving away. 2 cranes, 2 crane crews, the cameras, police probably, medical on the side waiting just in case something bad happens. You have permits, insurance, and so on. They destroy one car, then they give another car away. He had to buy 2 cars, break one and give one away. And during the giveaway process, I believe he actually pays the tax for the winner so they don't get flooded with taxes at the end of the video. But that all costs money. Next, we have the cannon location. Okay, so build 2 working cannons. Look at these 2 cranes, the camera crew, car in the field, which actually was one of his employees' cars because they had a big target in the middle and then the target actually ripped. So they decided to use his employee's car instead. And he said he's going to buy the employee another car after if they broke the car, but it doesn't stop there. They built this little jail. So again, time and materials cost. All of this is pre-built, transported, set up, filmed, and taken down. These are all days of time and expensive people. It's a multi-day event, a multi-team crew, and multi-thousands of dollars. Next, we have the graveyard scene. 7 of these lights again that we talked about earlier. We have an entire crew dedicated for this scene. We have a grave digging truck, and Nolan is actually buried in there. So what does that mean? That means insurance. That means a medical team is on standby. Nolan's parents are also here. I don't know where they live, but did they get flown out as well? That costs money. QR code tattoo, marginal, but costs money. Does Nolan cost money? I assume so. Then you have the equipment to dig, and now you're done. On to the sumo wrestler scene. We already know all these location setup costs, props, crew, etc. I don't need to go into it again. But the heaviest Japanese sumo wrestler, Yamamoto Yama. I think he lives in LA, but how much did it cost to fly him out? And how much did they have to pay him for this appearance? Probably a couple thousand? Did they have to pay for his hotel? Does he eat? Next, we have another burial. A giant hole filled with money. Lighting, crew, pre-production, etc., etc., etc. We have $100,000 buried in the ground, plus the taxes associated with giving that much money away. And that's a wrap. Now pack everything up.